Hey everybody, welcome to this week's video. This week's Torah portion is Tetzaveh, and it talks about the garments that were made for the Kohen and the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, and the inauguration of the Kohanim, the 7-day inauguration process, where they would be inaugurated into the temple worship, into the Mishkan, into bringing sacrifices and so on. Alarmingly, you will notice that Moses' name is not appear in this week's parsha. It is the only one from his birth till his death at the end of Devarim, at the end of Deuteronomy, that does not mention his name even once. The Baal HaTurim brings two reasons for this, and I'm going to share with you a third. The first reason he says is the most well-known, that when the Jews sinned with the golden calf, Moses said, if you don't forgive the people, erase me from the Torah. He told God, just erase me. If you don't forgive them, erase me. So God forgave them, but Moses said, erase me, his name has to be erased. So his name is erased from one parsha. This is what the Baal HaTurim explains. Here's lesson number one in leadership. Devotion to the people, to give up what matters to you most. There was nothing more important to Moses than the Torah. Moses was the one who brought the law to the people. It's called Torah Moshe, the Torah of Moshe. But to save the people, he said, I want to have nothing to do with it. I'll be willing to give up my entire connection, all that is meaningful to me, all that matters to me, I'm going to give it up for the sake of the people. Wow, that's a leader. To sacrifice for the people. Let's look at lesson number two. Aaron is the high priest, the older brother. Moses is the leader, the teacher. God tells Moses, I want you to take the Jews out of Egypt. What does he say? He says, nah, can't do it. I don't want to do it. Too difficult. Send someone else. So our sages tell us, because Moses initially declined, he forfeited the chance to be the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, and it was given to Aaron. So this week's parsha is all about Aaron. It's about the Kohen Gadol. So God says, I'm not going to put Moses' name in here. I don't want it to hurt him that he was not chosen. Sensitivity to others. Sensitivity that when Aaron's in the spotlight, let's not stick it into the face of Moses. I think there's a lot we can learn about that. Sometimes we have to be sensitive, especially when we're leaders, parents. We have to be sensitive to those around us, sensitive to our children, sensitive to our students. That even if we're focusing on one, we make sure it's not to the expense of others. Very, very important. But here's the last lesson, and I'll share it to you with a little anecdote. Our daughter Zelda, whose birthday is today, happy birthday Zelda. By the way, it's also the birthday of Moses. 7th of Adar is the day Moses was born. And according to tradition, it's the day he died at 120 years old. So Moses, it's his birthday. So anyway, Zelda, back to Zelda. So Zelda is in the production, the play that the school is putting on. Her job is drama head. She's in charge of making sure that the girls do their part and they know their pieces and their lines and so on and so forth. So we were talking about whether she's enjoying this role. She says, yeah, I think I want to be acting next year. I don't like the fact that I'm in the background. It's more fun to be front and center on the stage. At the production, no one's going to see me. I said, that's like Moses. You see, Moses understood that Tetzaveh, this portion, is about Aaron. This is about the Kohanim, the garments of the Kohanim. This is about the inauguration of the Kohanim. This is not about Moses. Moses says, I don't have to be front and center of this one. I could be in the background. That's okay. This is the time for Aaron to lead. This is the time to focus on the Kohanim. My name doesn't have to be everywhere. The true leader knows when to allow others to be in the spotlight and for them to take the background. Something we all need to work on. Certainly I do. How do I step back and allow others to lead? Very powerful. True leaders know how to do this. That's what we learn from Moses. To me, this is the most powerful of the lessons of leadership because it's the most practical. Of course, being devoted and of course, being sensitive, but allowing others to take the stage is the most important. And I will say this is something we learned from the Rebbe. He was always one to empower others to lead. He would tell people, convey a message to so-and-so, feel free to say it in your name. You don't have to say it in my name. He understood that sometimes letting others be in the front can be even more powerful, even more empowering. So important. And that's the lesson from this week's parsha. The lessons in leadership from God, who is sensitive to Moses. The lessons of leadership from Moses, who's willing to take his name out of the whole thing for the people. And the lesson that he wants to allow Aaron to have his day. And he doesn't have to be there. I wish you a good Shabbos. I'd love your comments and feedback on the videos. Feel free to send me a message. Shabbat Shalom.